Well, hello, everyone. It is Karen Ann Harlos, the Pink Parliamentarian, with your somewhat regular, quick, and easy tips on Robert's Rules of Order. I am a registered parliamentarian with the National Association of Parliamentarians and am available for hire by your organization. You can find more at pinkparliamentarian.com, or you can write me at pinkparliamentarian@gmail.com. I also do offer brief free consultations, and my regular rates are very reasonable, if I don't say so myself. I've done a lot of work in the political arena, sometimes as a floor parliamentarian and many more times as a convention parliamentarian. In addition to working for several nonprofits, my philosophy is people first, that we don't work for the rules, that the rules work for us. So if that sounds like a good fit, please get in touch. So today we are on a topic that can often be confusing to folks, and that is resolutions versus motions. So let's get the quick and easy explanation right out there. All resolutions are motions, but not all motions are resolutions. A resolution is a motion in a particular formal format. Personally, I find it kind of old-fashioned, and Robert's Rules of Order has some very, very fussy, overly fussy, prissy punctuation rules for them. So I want to note that in at least some organizations, in their everyday usage, the terms can be used interchangeably. I don't think they are in bylaws per se, in the more technical writing, but in just general parlance, they can be. With resolution being used for something in organizations that's substantively more weighty and like a policy statement rather than procedure. So Roberts recognizes this in 4:5 by saying, for more complex questions, actually it says important or complex questions, or when greater formality is desired, the motion is presented in the form of a resolution. The usual wording, and this is only for the most simple of resolutions, it would be like, I move the adoption of the following resolution. Resolved that, so on and so forth. Or I offer the following resolution. Resolved that, again, so on and so forth. Now, though per 1014, the form in which a main motion is written does not affect in any way what must be referred to a resolutions committee, if such a thing exists in your organization, nor does it affect the form of the motions reported by such a resolutions committee. That's just an aside on resolutions committees that we might cover in a future show. We are most often used to resolutions being introduced by a preamble, whereas so on, whereas so on. And this is really discussed in 10:16, where it says in part, it is usually inadvisable to attempt to include the reasons within the motion itself, ergo by a preamble. To do so may encumber the motion and may weigh against its adoption, since some members who might approve of the action or the opinion that it proposes, and I added or opinion, may dislike voting for it if it states reasons with which they disagree. Also 10:19, and I'm annoying myself with this colon stuff. I should just say 10:19 specifies that if there is a preamble, the preamble is always amended last, since changes in the resolving clauses may require changes in the preamble. And here's where I learned something new, and I love learning something new. So I find this is very interesting. If the previous question is ordered on the resolution before the preamble has been considered for amendment, the previous question, or calling the question, does not apply to the preamble, which becomes open to debate and amendment, and unless the previous question is then separately ordered on it also. Now that raises a question that I might want to bring up on the Roberts Forum. What if all previous questions are called for, but the only thing that was before the body was the resolution? Does that suffice to close the preamble for amendment? I think I am going to ask this on the forum, and I will report back, maybe in a special episode. So back to the basic point, it's that a resolution is a motion structured in a more formulaic way that usually expresses a strong or more formal policy position of an assembly. There are other authorities that support this view, including going all the way back to General Roberts' parliamentary law, and that would be the American Institute of Parliamentarian Standard Code, Riddick's, even, and not just dislike this book intensely, the Democratic Rules of Order. Demeter's, though, was pretty expressive on this. A resolution is a more formal expression of a proposal, which often suggests questions of sentiment or feeling, such as expressions of joy, sorrow, approval, disapproval, or other attitudes or states of mind, whereas a main motion primarily suggests concrete business proposals. In other words, if a proposal concerns or borders on opinion, policy, principle, or feeling, it is better parliamentary form to, did I say parliamentary wrong? I think I did. Parliamentary form. I got corrected on that before. Parliamentary form. I'm just correcting myself all the way today. It is more proper parliamentary form to express this state of mind through a resolution rather than a motion. But the person who warned me about the parliamentary should be proud, because I said Demeter's right. Give me some credit there. And Roberts also, again, is so fussy about the structure of these with specific capitalization and grammar rules, such as what I'm showing on the screen here. Yeah. This is one area that I just don't agree with Roberts on. I think it overly complicates things. And Roberts also has other suggestions for formatting when it's a platform, like in a political party. Well, in that wouldn't apply, at least in the political party I'm involved in, but it says for platforms or other public policy types of statements. And you can find that in 59, 76 through 77. Now, Demeter's also goes on to state very RONR-esque rigidity in grammar or in construction of resolutions. So, what do you think? I was really fascinated by that previous question portion. Do you have any questions? I'd really love to hear them. I thank you again for joining me. I'm sorry that it's been a while, and I do hope this gave you some food for thought. Again, remember, I'm available for hire by your organization, and you could find out more about me at pinkparliamentarian.com. There's another show that I do with a friend of mine named Mike Seebeck. It's called The Cult of RONR, but it's a lot spicier than this, and it's not necessarily safe for work. I know that sounds weird. How can parliamentary procedure be not safe for work? We managed to do that. Okay, that is it for today. I hope you have a wonderful night, day, whatever it is in your part of the world. Bye-bye and thank you.